I apologize for coming to the microphone again, but I did want to say a few things. Somewhat emotional moment for me, but I have a large box of Kleenex here, so we're in good shape. So many good friends here that it would be foolish to mention any names, but I'm going to mention a few, specifically those who've come a long way and represent some of the earliest phases of my career. They may wish to stand up and be recognized. I got started in GI in the late 60s at St. Thomas's Hospital, and a co-trainee of mine at the time was called Tony Axon. Tony? Tony Axon helped me with some of the very first helped with some of the very first procedures and saw my first Ercp in London in 1971. Recently became president of the World Organization of Endoscopy. Mark Wilkinson was my second intern in London after I joined the staff of the Middlesex. And there's some other Middlesex stalwarts here that I'm thrilled were able to join me here. Tony Mead, Johnny Lowes, and Roger Frost. Where are they? Yeah. Come on, Tony. Yeah. Roger. Roger, Johnny, thank you. Another very special person from London is Christopher Williams. Christopher, thank you, Christopher. Now more than 30 years since the first edition of our joint textbook, which is fortunately still going strong. And I wanted to mention Tim Heap from Australia. Where's Tim? Tim. He was the first overseas postgraduate to come to work with me, and the first of very, very many, including many wonderful Australians, some from here today. Thank you all very much for coming. One way that I kept our unit at Middlesex Hospital in London afloat was to run Ercp courses for Americans. Literally, we kept ourselves financially in reasonable shape for a little while. Some of those who attended from the United States became lifelong friends, not least John Cunningham. Where's John? John Cunningham, who of course became a close colleague at MUSC, and Alvin Sfass. Alvin, where are you? There's Alvin Sfass from MCV. Another very special person was with us at the time. His name is Robert Hawes. You may have heard of Robert Hawes. Rob tried to teach us American things when I was cogitating moving to the United States, but he never got me to eat donuts, but he tried hard. We failed in return to teach him how to play cricket. Also delighted that Adrian Hatfield's here today. Adrian was not actually a trainee of me, and he's untrainable, I think, but a trainee, but he took over my position basically at Middlesex and had wonderful things with that unit over the last 20 years. And by amazing coincidence, he's actually retiring from the Middlesex this weekend, right? Now, you may have noticed there are two people sharing the podium with me. I do want to introduce Fran Todesco on the left, who some of you have not yet met. He's very special to me for two good reasons. One was that he invited me to come and talk at the Medical College of Georgia in Augusta in 1983 at the time of the Masters golf tournament, knowing that I was interested in golf. And that was a wonderful experience, not least because I met Marion, my princess. 3 years later, in '86, he hosted a mini-sabbatical for me at the Medical College of Georgia, and it was at that time that I actually realized that I might want to move to the United States, and indeed was invited by Ian Taylor to come up to Duke, and the rest is history. Thank you both very much. For my Duke days, I'd also like to recognize Stan Branch. Stan, who is now who's now clinical chief at Duke, and there are many others from Duke. It's a thrill to see you again. Also from those days, I wanted to mention Marilyn Schaffner, who unfortunately couldn't be here now. She was here earlier, who was a most extraordinary head nurse and taught me a great deal about many things, enormously grateful to her. And of course, Rita. Is Rita here? Rita, thank you. Both Marilyn and Rita moved down to MUSC, so we've worked together now for just on 25 years. And I want to mention Vicky Marcy. Where's Vicky? Vicky became my right-hand man, I was going to say, but right-hand person in the Digestive Disease Center, and we went through a great deal together. I owe her a huge debt of gratitude for keeping the show on the road, sometimes with difficulty. Equally important, I'd like to welcome members of my special family who are here today, who have come over from England. Where are they? There we are. Andy, my son, and his wife Fiona. Nicola, my daughter. And Trip, my stepson. Trip. And of course, and this is where the tissues come in, I really want to acknowledge in public my huge debt of gratitude to Marion, who, here we go, for her enormous encouragement and support and love over the last 20 years. Thank you, darling. Okay, let's step back a little bit. Today I have hung up my scope, as some of you have seen, and seen my last patient. In case anyone's interested, I'm not going to fade into Deweese Island. I shall be around MUSC part-time at least, and in the world of GI, I hope, for a few years, continuing my research and writing and some teaching. Marion said she married me for life, but not for lunch. So many of you know that I have actually written my endoscopic memoirs. Some of you received a copy of this last night at our alumni reunion. It's called The Tunnel at the End of the Light. There's a free copy for everyone here that Rita will be handing out in the lunch tent immediately afterwards here. They're all signed. Please take only one, although you're welcome to purchase another one at the registration desk later on if you want to take one home as a gift. And while you're doing that, those of you who have small children or grandchildren might wish to purchase another recent book of mine. I'm into children's books now. This is called When Fred the Snake Got Squished and Mended, which I think is rather good. Anyway. Of course, I mentioned there's a free copy for everybody. Nothing is free in this world. My main goal in publishing these memoirs was and is to help to raise funds for advanced endoscopic training, helping people from all over the world to get advanced training, particularly in Ercp, has been a lifelong passion for me, as is obvious from looking around this room. There are no federal or other funds to support those positions in the United States, and it's been a struggle to actually find funds to allow people to have those positions. So we are setting out to try to establish an endowment for a scholarship, and I hope that people may think that's worthwhile. It's going to be in the MUSC Foundation. All proceeds from the sale of this book are already going into the Peter Cotton Endoscopy Training Fund. Inside your book you will find suggestions as to how you can contribute.
Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail, hippity hopping, Easter's on its way.